Is I wake up in the morning, I have a little salt, half a glass of water. I go to the bathroom, I have another half glass of water. I get dressed, I have another half a glass of water. Oh, a little bit of salt there. I pray, I have another half glass of water. Can you see what I'm doing? You just spread it out. So by the time I exercise in the morning, I've usually had often 3 glasses of water.
Are you over 70 and waking up more tired than when you went to bed? It might not be aging, it might be a habit you can fix tonight. From a 94-year-old farmer in Costa Rica who still walks miles to check his crops, to a grandmother in Japan who dances each morning before breakfast, their lifestyles whisper truths we've almost forgotten. These people have mastered the art of aging slowly. Not by chance, but by choice. Their habits shape their biology, sharpen their minds and fuel their hearts. And most of what they do, you and I can start doing today. So in this video, we're diving into 8 transformative habits shared by the world's most energetic elders. These are the patterns they live by, ones that build resilience, protect the mind and strengthen the body year after year. Comment "I'm in" if you're ready to take notes and bring these habits into your own life. Or type "tell me more" if you want to hear their secrets before you commit. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more tips on longevity, vitality, and living well at every age. But before we begin, I'd love to hear from you. Where are you tuning in from today? Drop a comment below and feel free to ask any questions you might have. Now let's get started. 1. They stick to a natural, predictable daily rhythm. One of the most striking things about people in their 90s who still live independently is how steady and predictable their days are. They don't wake up to chaos or scramble through a morning of emails, fast food or frantic multitasking. Instead, their days follow a peaceful rhythm, often set by nature itself. They rise with the sun, move their bodies without forcing it, and eat meals at the same time each day. This consistency isn't boring, it's life-giving. Their bodies know what to expect, so stress hormones stay low and biological systems stay balanced. It's a kind of gentle discipline that most of us in our always-on culture have lost touch with. In Okinawa, Japan, for example, elders often begin their mornings with tea, light stretching, and time in their gardens. Nothing dramatic, just pure intention. No rushing, no notifications, no sugar-laced caffeine drinks, just slowness with purpose. This signals their nervous system to relax and keeps inflammation low. And guess what? Their digestive and cardiovascular systems respond in kind. It's not magic, it's circadian aligned. The body wants to work with the rising and setting of the sun. And the people who live past 90 often live this truth without even needing to think about it. Compare that to many of us today late. Nighttime screen time, irregular meals, skipping breakfast, hitting caffeine to fake energy, then collapsing late at night with a racing mind. Our bodies can't anticipate anything, and that unpredictability burns us out from the inside. But those who reach their 90s in good health often spend decades honouring the basics: eat, move, rest and connect, all on a schedule. Their hormones stay balanced, their digestion stays regular, and their sleep is deeper and more restorative. Not because of supplements, but because of structure. This kind of life rhythm acts like a metronome for your biology. It sets the beat for longevity. If you're feeling off balance lately, start by anchoring just 2 things: a consistent bedtime and a regular mealtime for your first meal of the day. You'll be shocked how much that alone can do. Comment "daily rhythm" if you're ready to reclaim your biological clock. Or type "re-see me" if you know your routine needs a full makeover but you're not sure where to start. Those 2. They don't sit still for too long. If there's one thing long-living elders have in common, it's this: they rarely sit for hours without moving. In fact, many of them barely sit at all during the day. Picture a 92-year-old Okinawan grandmother rising at dawn to sweep her porch, tend her vegetable patch and walk down to the local market. not because she's chasing steps on a fitness tracker, but because that's simply her way of life. Or imagine a Sardinian shepherd, well into his 80s, still walking hilly terrain with a flock of goats, stopping occasionally to chat with a neighbour or adjust a stone wall. Their movements are natural, woven into routines that give them a sense of agency. They don't talk about cardio or core strength, which can lead to poor posture, back pain and reduced mobility as you age, but perhaps the most overlooked aspect is what sitting still does to your mind. Movement, especially light walking or physical chores, boosts endorphins, clears mental fog and regulates your circadian rhythm. It also activates your lymphatic system, which doesn't have a pump like your heart and relies on motion to flush toxins. That's why older people who keep moving tend to stay mentally sharp and emotionally balanced. Their brains are literally nourished by their physical momentum. So how can you bring this into your life, especially if you have a desk job or limited mobility? Start by setting a timer every 45 minutes to stand up and stretch. Walk around while taking phone calls. Use your lunch break to take a stroll. Even tidying up your living space or washing dishes by hand counts. Don't underestimate the power of fidgeting, calf pumping or pacing while you think. These micro movements mimic the natural rhythms of long-living communities and protect your physiology from the slow decline of inertia. Comment "stay in motion" if you believe movement is medicine. Or comment "sitting too much" if you're still battling the desk-bound lifestyle and want creative ways to move more without exhausting yourself. Taking long naps during the day. Let's be honest, there's something irresistible about a cosy nap after lunch, especially when you're tired and have earned the luxury of rest. But there's a hidden danger when these naps start stretching beyond the 20-30 minute mark. Long naps, especially those lasting over an hour, can do more harm than good. They throw off your internal body clock, your circadian rhythm, making it harder to fall asleep at night and stay asleep. What was meant to refresh you can end up creating a frustrating cycle of poor nighttime sleep and groggy daytime fatigue. Older adults are particularly vulnerable to this cycle. As we age, our sleep architecture naturally changes. We spend less time in deep sleep, wake up more often, and may even experience a phase shift in our circadian rhythm, where we feel sleepy early in the evening and wake up before sunrise. Add in a long daytime nap, and that delicate balance is completely thrown off. Suddenly you're wide awake at midnight and dragging through the next day, prompting another nap. The loop continues. Here's where it gets serious. Studies have linked excessive daytime napping to increased risks of cardiovascular disease, cognitive decline, and even early mortality. One large study published in Alzheimer's and Dementia found that longer and more frequent daytime naps were associated with faster cognitive decline in older adults. Why? Because those naps might not be restorative. They are often a symptom of fragmented sleep or an underlying health issue like sleep apnea or depression, not a cure. But don't get the wrong idea, naps aren't inherently bad. In fact, a 15 to 30 minute power nap earlier in the day can boost memory, alertness and even immune function. The key is moderation. Set a timer, keep the room bright and avoid napping on the couch for hours with the TV humming in the background. Your brain will thank you, and so will your nighttime self when you finally fall into deep, restful sleep without tossing and turning for hours. Comment "power nap only" if you're keeping your naps under control, or "guilty of snoozing" if you've been known to conk out for hours. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe for more daily habits that can change your life after 70. 5. Ignoring evening hydration. It's common to hear advice about cutting off fluids after 6 or 7 p.m, especially for older adults who want to avoid nighttime trips to the bathroom. And yes, it's true that excessive late night drinking can disrupt your sleep. But there's a dangerous flip side to this. Many seniors end up drinking too little water in the evening out of fear, leading to subtle but serious dehydration by morning. This might not sound dramatic, but even mild dehydration can wreak havoc on your body overnight. Overnight, your body enters repair mode. Cells regenerate, tissues heal, your brain flushes out waste through the lymphatic system. But all of this requires adequate hydration. If you go to bed slightly dehydrated, your blood becomes thicker, circulation slows, and the body's ability to deliver oxygen and nutrients is compromised. This can trigger headaches, muscle cramps, and even increase the risk of stroke in people with already compromised vascular health. Older adults in particular have a weaker thirst mechanism, meaning you might not even feel thirsty before bed, even if your body is running dry. The danger is compounded when you take medications, especially diuretics, blood pressure pills, or laxatives, that already strain your fluid balance. Add in a dry room or a night of mouth breathing due to snoring or sleep apnea, and you could wake up parched, dizzy, or even lightheaded enough to risk a fall. In fact, many early morning emergency room visits for dizziness, fainting, or even mini strokes are connected to dehydration after a long, dry night. So, what's the solution? You don't need a gallon of water before bed, just be strategic. Sip a small glass of water about 60-90 minutes before sleeping. Herbal teas like chamomile or lemon balm without caffeine can soothe your nerves and top off your hydration gently. Avoid chugging fluids right before lying down, but don't go to bed on empty either. A well-hydrated body sleeps deeper, flushes toxins better, and wakes up clearer and more balanced. Comment hydrated and healthy if you make evening hydration a gentle priority. Or need to work on this if you've been skipping water to avoid bathroom trips. Hit that subscribe button if you're learning something new every day. 6. Watching stressful news before bed. It starts innocently enough. You just want to check the headlines, see the weather, or catch up on current events. But before you know it, you've spiraled into a vortex of political drama, climate crisis, economic turmoil, or violent crime. For older adults, this nightly habit can be especially harmful, not just emotionally but physiologically. Watching or even reading distressing news stories before bed can spike your cortisol levels, the primary stress hormone, at the exact time your body is trying to wind down and prepare for sleep. Here's the thing, the human brain is still wired for survival, and it doesn't always distinguish between perceived threats and real ones. When you see war footage or hear about financial collapses, your amygdala, the brain's emotional alarm centre, fires up. Your nervous system gets the message, we're in danger. This triggers a cascade of stress hormones that elevate heart rate, increase blood pressure, and keep your mind alert. For seniors with underlying heart or cognitive conditions, this can make falling asleep almost impossible or lead to fragmented, shallow sleep that doesn't allow for proper brain restoration. Over time, the cycle becomes self-reinforcing. Poor sleep leads to heightened emotional reactivity the next day, which makes you more sensitive to stresses. And what do you turn to for comfort or distraction? More news. It's a feedback loop that can contribute to chronic anxiety, depression, or even worsen age memory issues. Several studies have linked bedtime media consumption, especially negative or emotionally charged content, to increased symptoms of insomnia, reduced melatonin production, and heightened feelings of hopelessness, particularly in older adults. A better alternative? Create a media curfew. Set a strict cut-off time, say 1 hour before bed, when you stop all news, social media, and dramatic content. Replace it with soothing rituals like light reading, gentle music, or a gratitude journal. The goal isn't to ignore the world's problems, it's to give your mind a break so your body can heal. When you protect your peace before bed, You sleep more soundly, wake up calmer, and approach the day with more resilience. Comment News Detox if you're ready to protect your mind at night, or still working on it if this habit has its claws in you. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more wellness tips that prioritise peace over panic. 7. Ignoring bathroom cues before bed. It sounds simple, maybe even harmless. You feel a small urge to pee before bed, but you brush it off. I'll be fine till morning, you think. But for older adults, ignoring these signals can come with consequences that disrupt both your sleep and long-term urinary health. That small decision to skip the bathroom can mean the difference between a peaceful night's rest and being jolted awake at 2 a.m. with an uncomfortable urgency or even a leak. And when it becomes a habit, it affects far more than your bladder. It starts interfering with your body's entire rest and repair cycle. As we age, the bladder loses some of its elasticity and efficiency. This means it doesn't hold as much as it used to and may not send a stronger signal when it's getting full. Add in age changes like lower estrogen in women or prostate enlargement in men, and you've got a recipe for nighttime urgency. If you regularly ignore your body's cues before bed, you're forcing your bladder to hold urine overnight, increasing the risk of nocturia, frequent nighttime urination, urinary tract infections, and even incontinence episodes. This not only disrupts your sleep, but can become a source of embarrassment, anxiety, or even falls, especially for those who get up in the dark, groggy and disoriented. There's also a behavioural aspect to this that's often overlooked. Consistently ignoring the need to urinate before bed may desensitise your awareness of your body's signals. You start tuning out internal messages, and that disconnect leads to delayed responses. Over time, this disconnection can spill over into other areas like hunger cues, thirst or pain. Seniors in particular need to strengthen the mind-body connection, not dampen it. In growing, honouring simple urges like going to the bathroom is a way to stay in tune with what your body is asking for and what it needs to stay balanced and healthy. So what can you do? Build a consistent pre-bed routine that always includes a trip to the bathroom, whether or not the urge feels urgent. Keep the path to your toilet well lit and uncluttered to prevent falls in case you do need to go during the night. And pay attention to your fluid intake. You don't need to cut off water entirely in the evening, but tapering it off 2 hours before bedtime and skipping caffeine or alcohol can help reduce those nighttime wake-ups. Prioritising this small habit reinforces a deeper message to your body. I'm listening and I care. Comment Bladder Boss if you're making bathroom breaks part of your bedtime ritual, or Night Owl Struggles if you're still dealing with midnight wake-ups. Hit like and subscribe if you're ready for more ways to sleep through the night with confidence and control. 8. Falling asleep with the TV on. It's a habit millions have. Drifted off to the hum of late night news or a familiar sitcom playing softly in the background. For many seniors, the TV serves as a kind of comfort. It fills the silence, drowns out loneliness, and becomes part of a nightly wind-down ritual. But what seems harmless or even helpful can actually sabotage your brain's ability to transition into deep, restorative sleep. The truth is that background noise and flickering light may be keeping your brain just alert enough to prevent you from ever reaching true rest. The brain is incredibly sensitive to light and sound, even during sleep. Studies show that exposure to artificial light, especially blue light from screens, suppresses melatonin production, the hormone responsible for making you sleepy. When the TV is on, your eyes may be closed, but your brain still processes the changing lights and sounds, keeping it in a lighter stage of sleep. This means fewer deep sleep cycles, more micro-awakenings, and a lower quality of rest overall. Over time, this sleep fragmentation can contribute to memory problems, higher stress levels, and even a weakened immune system. But there's also something deeper happening. Many older adults use the television as a sleep aid because of the silence that comes when it's off. That silence can feel deafening, especially if you've lost a partner or live alone. The voices on the screen offer a sense of companionship. This emotional comfort is real, but so is the long-term damage of relying on it night after night. Your body needs silence and darkness to properly regulate your circadian rhythm, repair tissues, and flush out toxins in the brain, a process that only occurs during deep sleep. When you fall asleep with the TV on, you're interrupting the very process that keeps your brain sharp and your body resilient. There are gentler ways to fill that silence without disrupting your biology. Try transitioning to a soothing audiobook or a sleep-specific playlist with nature sounds or binaural beats that guide the brain into deeper sleep states. You can also experiment with guided meditations or soft ambient lighting that gradually dims. Set a sleep timer on your TV if you're not ready to give it up completely. Just 15 to 30 minutes is enough to ease you into rest without overstimulating your brain all night. With just a few tweaks, you can preserve the emotional comfort of your bedtime routine while protecting the quality of your sleep. Just comment "no more night noise" if you're ditching the bedtime TV habits starting tonight, or "TV lover in recovery" if you're weaning off slowly. Like this video if you believe restful sleep is worth protecting, and subscribe for more gentle tips to reclaim your nights. Sleep is not just about shutting down, it's about showing up. It's about giving your body the silent treatment it desperately needs, the kind of silence that repairs cells, balances hormones, clears mental fog, and even fortifies the immune system. And when you're over 70, sleep becomes more than a biological function. It becomes a sacred ritual, a vote of confidence that says, yes, I still matter. Yes, I still deserve peace. We've talked about 9 subtle yet destructive habits that many seniors unknowingly carry into bedtime: not sticking to a consistent routine, watching TV until you drift off, popping over-the-counter sleep aids like candy, keeping the thermostat too high, skipping your wind-down ritual, ignoring light cues, eating too close to bedtime, relying on naps, and most dangerous of all, treating bad sleep as normal just because you're aging. But aging doesn't mean surrender. It doesn't mean accepting fatigue as your default state. If anything, this phase of life should be a celebration of wisdom. And wisdom means knowing that quality sleep is non-negotiable. You've earned your rest. You've paid your dues. You're allowed to prioritize your wellness without apology. The truth is, the better you sleep, the better your brain functions, the better your memory, the sharper your mood, the stronger your cardiovascular health. Even your balance improves, reducing the risk of falls that can be devastating in later life. So what's stopping you? Maybe it's habit, maybe it's misinformation. Maybe you just didn't know how small things. A cookie at the wrong hour, a nap too late in the day, too much blue light after sunset can sabotage your sleep from the inside out. But now you do know. And knowledge in this case isn't just power, it's transformation. It's your wake-up call. Start small. Maybe tonight you lower the thermostat and dim the lights an hour before bed. Maybe tomorrow you resist that late day nap and take a short walk instead. These aren't just habits, they're declarations that you're not done yet, that sleep is not something life steals from you as you grow older. It's something you protect like a treasure chest full of vitality. Comment "sacred sleep" if you're claiming your rest with intention. Or type "still thriving" if you're embracing this stage of life with energy, wisdom and purpose. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe, because we're just getting started and you deserve every tool to age with strength, serenity and joy.